Hello viewers, this is Abhilash. Welcome to the channel. Now today I'd like to talk to you guys about spark plugs. I've been thinking of changing my copper spark plugs to iridium spark plugs because everybody has been saying that it's pretty good spark plugs. So I thought let me go ahead and try this out. I've never tried iridium spark plugs before. Here a little note about iridium spark plugs. There are three kinds of spark plugs. One is copper, platinum, and then iridium. So these are the three major spark plugs that is available in the market. So the copper is a very good conductivity of electricity, which is the best performance when it comes to performance. Platinum is not really good conductor of electricity, but longevity is high. Longevity means the lifespan of the spark plug. But the performance is bad for platinum, wherein iridium is actually in the middle. It has a good performance as well as a good longevity. Iridium spark plugs normally they claim to give about 3 times the life of a normal copper plug. The copper plug is supposed to be changed at 20,000 kilometers, wherein the iridium spark plugs NGK claims about 80,000 kilometers. That is more than 3 times of a normal copper spark plug. That is the difference between the copper, platinum, and an iridium spark plugs. So the longevity is really high at iridium. So when you're riding for a long hours, long kilometers, then probably iridium spark plugs would be good so that you can use it on your long trips. So you don't have to change your spark plugs. But the heat dissipation of iridium and platinum is not really good. That is one complaint that everybody says. So it tends to overheat the spark plugs. So I don't know, that is a question, but the metal stays is very strong that it does not, it has a higher melting point. So probably a higher heat should still be okay for these spark plugs, wherein copper dissipation of heat is much easier. So this is something which I have a dilemma, which is the longevity is high but the heat dissipation is less. If the heat is really high, it will affect the performance. So I don't know, I'll need to really try it out. Only then I can actually tell you how it feels. So I cannot actually make a quick video about the performance of iridium spark plug because I have to ride it for so many kilometers in order to understand that. I will definitely make a video after running quite a long time, and then I'll tell you guys what was the difference that I felt from copper and iridium spark plug. Spark plugs only cost about 75 to 90 rupees for Avenger 220. Wherein iridium spark plugs, I bought the NGK iridium spark plugs for 650 rupees. So that is about more than 6 times the normal copper plug spark plugs price. I'll show you a quick look about with the 2 iridium spark plugs that we've got these 2 iridium plugs here. Now I got these from the dealer in Kerala, in Trichy. So this is the iridium plug that I have right now. You can see that I've bought 2 iridium plugs for both the sides. Now the small complication that I had is the models. This is the CR9EIX, which is basically can be used, it's like a general plug that can be used, but the specific plug for Avenger, looking at the model number on their website, is CPR8, which is not available to get, and you have to order it. So instead they said I can use this. A technician in South India spoke to him and he said this can be used. There's not much of a difference. So these are the 2 iridium spark plugs. Now trip, it's a 0.8 mm and the internal electrode size is 0.6 mm. Now I'll show you the copper plug also. So that's the iridium plug. I'll show you the difference between the spark on the copper spark plug and the iridium spark plug, so you can actually see what is the difference. Do not touch it, it's very delicate, that you can see, so you don't want to fiddle with it and it will break. So don't do anything, just keep it in the box and then get the service guy to fix it for you. I'm going to do is I will be taking it down to the showroom in order to connect it to a service center, for the reason that it has to have the right torque, so for us to get the complete efficiency of the plug. So I'll talk to you guys from the showroom. We have the engine already run for about 15 kilometers now, so let's check out the sound, how the engine is right now. So we haven't changed the plugs yet, so this is still the copper plug. Let's take a look at the sound of the silencer and the engine. So let's go ahead to the showroom and we'll change the spare plugs and we'll see how. We've got Riaz doing the removing the spark plug. So he's just pulling out the spark plug. Now he does not have a torque spanner here with him, so in fact he'll be using a normal wrench in order to tighten it. This is the stock spark plug model number, which is PRG6HCC. Look at the tip here. Yeah. It's not really worn out. You can see that since I've only done about 6,000 to 7,000 kilometers, it's not really worn out. So let's look at the head. Now that's the cylinder, the head. And there isn't a lot of carbon deposit there also, as the spark plug also didn't have a lot of carbon deposit. So let's take a look at what's happened on the other side. That is the plug tool. The name of the tool is plug tool. There you go. So you can see the gap. Now that is 0.5 mm, 0.6 mm, 0.7 and 0.8. 0.8 is what we want in our spark plug. So let's look at the spark plug gap there. Cleaning. That's the cleaning tool. So they use that tool in order to clean the spark plug.
The adjustable gap.
So this is what they use in order to adjust the gap of the spark plug.
Okay. 0.8 mm.
So that is the 0. This is actually putting the spark plug in. I'll take the video from this side. Okay, so you have to hold it there. You just push it in and slowly turn once or twice to make sure that it fits in right and it stays there in the cylinder. Okay, now we've got it screwed into the head.
Okay.
So there is a little bit of play. Oh, I see. Okay. So you need to make sure that you don't cross thread the spark plug, because you lose the thread of your cylinder head. So for that's the reason that you're screwing it up with your hand in the beginning, to make sure that the threads are going in right. Only after that you use a spanner in order to tighten it. So now we've got the spanner, so we are tightening it. Since we don't have a torque wrench, we will be using a normal spanner, and Riaz knows how much it needs to be tightened because they've been doing it regularly. So that was it. So we've already tightened it up, and he's just cleaning up the adapter. Okay, the spark plug adapter, and punching it back in. Okay, there you go. So that's supposed to work right now. So we're done with this side. Now let's go to the other side. Right side spark plug. So you need to slowly remove that bush, pull that out, and that's the adapter. So the adapter comes out. So you've got the spark plug inside there. The spark plug spanner. Now place that inside. So these guys have the equipment which is provided by the company, or it's supposed to be using the same spanner. So it's always better to do it probably in a service center if guys does not have the right tools in order to remove that. Since these guys are professional, they know what kind of spanners needs to be used. So that's the different spanner, and that's actually used to unscrew it completely, and I think it also pulls out the spark plug. Let's check that. Okay, so we've got that, like we assumed, we can pull the plug out. We've got the plug out there, and this plug also looks pretty decent since we have not done a lot of kilometers. It should work fine. So normally the spark plug runs for about 30,000 kilometers. Okay, so Riaz says it's 30,000 kilometers. So I still have more life on the spark plug. Probably I'll just keep the spark plug for a later stage. If the iridium doesn't work fine or if it dies, then probably I can put that back in. So now he's just cleaning up the cylinder head. So there's no oil spill or anything inside the spark plug. And something else that you need to be careful is when you're doing the right side, Riaz was just telling me that like what you did on your left hand side, you cannot do it with your fingers, because it's you can see that it's quite hollow and it's quite deep, so your fingers won't actually fit inside that. So instead of that, the wrench that we use in order to pull out the spark plug, so he will be using the same tool in order to, first what we've done is place the spark plugs, and after that he's using this tool. So this is what they need to use in order to tighten it. So you tighten it slowly, so you get to know that if it is cross-threaded, you'll feel it on the tool, and if it's freely screwing in, so that means you're doing it right. So like what Riaz is doing right now. So you don't see any obstruction, so that means you are screwing it right. There you go. So he screwed it, so it's tight to an extent that it's staying there. Now he'll be using the other wrench in order to tighten it properly. This is the normal wrench that he'll be using.
16 mm.
16 mm, yeah. So yeah, so with that he's applying enough torque, which he knows to what extent he needs to apply. There you go, so he's pulled that out. So we're done with the spark plug. Now we'll be putting back the spark plug adapters. Now before that, he's just doing a little bit of cleaning and making sure everything is right in there. The bush for the adapter to make sure it fits in properly inside the cylinder head. Yeah. So and then slowly you punch that back in, and a small push, and then it's in the right position then. So he's putting back the washers in the right position. So there we go. So now it's supposed to be working fine right now, so we'll have to switch on the engines to see if it is working fine or not. So Riaz is just trying to switch on the engines there. So there you go. In the first start itself, the engine picked up and that's running smooth. Now before we came into the service center, we checked out the noise of the engine, and let's look at the noise of the engine right now also. I think that the engine is a lot more softer sound. It's got a smoother sound compared to the previous sound that we had. And even if we throttle a little bit, there you go. It looks like, you know, the firing is pretty smooth right now, so I see it a lot more smoother than the original copper plugs that we had before. So I think that is all that we can look at the moment, until unless I start riding it for a while. Only then I'll get to know the performance and the mileage, which I'll keep you guys updated. Alright guys, so this is another Avenger. So this is the coil that it normally uses in order to fire the spark plugs. Let's take a look at this. Now the model number on this is 4101. So this is the coil that it normally uses to spark plugs. So this is the stock spark coils, not the high performance but the stock ones. So I've got the Iridium Spark plugs changed. I didn't do a lot of ride, but I did a short ride with the Iridium Spark plugs. What I felt is the engine, to me, it felt a little smoother. I don't know, maybe it is because of the combustion. The spark is, like you saw the video, I showed you the comparison of the copper and the Iridium Sparks. It could be because of the spark, the engine felt a lot more smoother to me. One thing that I felt is less changing gears. Maybe it's because the combustion is really right, because I don't know, for some reason, because I used to change gears often when it was copper spark plugs, but this really made a difference. Now if you ask me, does it really worth changing copper plug to iridium plug? So far, I would say no, because the cost is quite a major cost. So it doesn't worth so much of money spending on an Iridium Spark plug. But people, if you have extra cash with you and you want a little better performance, a minor better performance, then yes, you can go for the Iridium Spark plugs. And talking about the MSD cables, do you really need the MSD cables? I spoke to the NGK technician in South India, because I contacted NGK. I wanted to understand the model numbers. I showed you two model numbers. Both these model numbers can be used for Avenger. One of the model numbers, the CPR, is basically meant for the Avenger, wherein the CR9 is like a general purpose spark plug that can still be used. Not the technician told me, the NGK technician told me that there isn't much of a difference between both the spark plugs. You can still go ahead and use those, both of these. Now, the technician also told me that it's not really necessary to have an MSD cable put on your spark plug. It did make sense to me, because if you don't have an ignition coil, which is like a high performance ignition coil, there is no point in putting a high performance cable in the ignition, because the spark is going to be the same. The only difference would be the conductivity between the conductivity of the electricity from your coil to the spark plug. To change your coil along with the MSD cables and then a high performance a spark plug, then yes, it will definitely make a difference. But just changing the MSD cable will not give you a big difference. So yes, so that is about the NGK spark plug. Like I said, I tried comparing the noise of the engine. It didn't make much of a difference. It did not show me much of a difference, and the performance, I felt a minor difference but not a major difference. And so in that case, I really doubt if you need to move from a copper plug to an iridium plug, until unless you have some extra cash and you are really keen in changing it. It is not worth, that is my experience, it does not worth changing a copper plug to an iridium plug. So I hope this video is helpful for you guys. Now thank you so much guys, and feel free to ask me any questions that you guys have, and please do subscribe for new subscribers, and thank you so much, and I'll see you soon with another video.